What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Blockhash podcast on the Blockhash channel. Today, we'll be talking about Cardano, ADA, and doing some chart analysis. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to like the video and share this with a friend if they want to check this out as well. Make sure to also check out our sponsor, Bump Social. All links in the description below on what they're doing and what they're building. Also check out our membership programs on YouTube if you want exclusive content, access to exclusive content, and our Substack, blockhash.substack.com, to keep up with every piece of content. All right, let's take a look. Let's dive into this. So this is the daily. I'm going to back out a little bit to give a little bit more context because it's a little choppy right now. All right, so this is what we're looking at in the long term. We're going to focus on May. But again, as a recap, if you haven't seen previous videos on Cardano, this is all new territory for Cardano as of 2021. Before that, Cardano was stuck below 14 cents, averaging pretty close to 8 cents for a long time. And then came beginning of 2021, we had this mania in crypto and it exploded. It went from, again, like 8 to 13 cents to as high as $3. I swear it was $3.50 or higher on some exchanges, but it just exploded in price and very, very quickly. Since then, it has pulled back. It has had a really hard 2022. 2023 was pretty much dead for it, and then it finally bottomed, completely bottomed, in mid-October with the rest of the crypto market. Then it made a turnaround. From that point, it started to form a funnel. We broke through that funnel as we got into April, and now it's consolidating back at a lower 44 to 45 cent level. Where will it go from there? We'll find out. This is on the weekly, but is definitely in a consolidation phase, and we're going to find out whether or not this can continue to break to the upside. There's good and there's bad here. The good news is consolidation is a necessary step before continuation. All right. So you have to have that before you can keep going up in a healthy market. An unhealthy market, you just have this and it rockets up. This is a pullback that was healthy, but it just rocketed up again. Like there's no stepping stones here. Stepping stones is how you get to higher levels. These are stepping stones. All right. And this is a healthy pullback. We're tracing 1.5 of those stepping stones, and then we'll probably continue. But this funnel is invalidated. That's the negative. I'd like to see it in that funnel. I'd like to see it break a little higher before it pulls back. But the market is the market, so we got to let it play out. It was also very overbought at both of these periods. And so it was time for a correction. Now, this is not oversold either. It pulled back and started to get, to an oversold period, and then it kind of metered out. So there's some good there. And that started to happen around the time it hit its moving averages, not just the short term, but the long-term moving averages. The key is we want to see it hold the 100 and the 200 as much as possible. And we'll find out what that looks like in the coming weeks. Now, to add further context, we'll go back to the daily. So if we're going to look at this period in particular, see, we're right below the moving average, but as soon as we got below the moving average, we stopped out. All right. It doesn't want to go below 42, 43. Put a line here for reference. We'll come back to it in future charts. Can we extend this out potentially? Yeah, I think we can. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking for some former ceilings that are holding as former floor or new floors. So over the past year or two, Cardano has tested this 1 to 3 times more or less, maybe 5 or 6 if we go all the way back to November of 2022. All right, it hasn't been able to get through this level. There was some resistance there. It popped through that level when we were in December, invalidating that ceiling, which is a good sign. It's also a good sign that it came down to this ceiling again and it hit it 3 times in a row, pretty solidly showing that this is a new floor. All right. We want ceilings to turn into floors. That's how you know things are moving in the upward direction, the right direction. The key here is now that this is getting very narrow, is what it does next. So we're going to draw another line from its recent high, riding this all the way down. We might cheat this a little bit just to kind of get some of these grooves in. So what Cardano's battling right now is this downward trend hitting on this former ceiling that it wants to turn into a floor. So can we do that? If we break down from here, that's not a good sign. However, if we can get through this, whether we move sideways or we move up, both are good signs. So there's a 66% chance for us to have some real positive momentum come out of this market, given the trajectory and how it's going to change the overall macro environment, as well as what it would take. If we move sideways, we continue consolidation. We don't break to new lows. We actually break this downward trend, and that's healthy. I'd be happy with that. If we break up, obviously that's obvious. Break down, obviously that's obvious. Because we break down, then we're looking at coming back to the 37 level. There's resistance there, but that's not a level we want to be at because those are where our floors are at. We want to find our ceilings, right? This is too choppy down here when you go back. You want to see it hold a new level and then work its way up. Again, on the daily, we're oversold. That's another good sign. We're likely to continue when we're oversold. You go back, you look at history. We got oversold. It came back up. It did come back and test it one more time in the near future. I don't think we're going to have that scenario though. But it was choppy for a while and then it popped up. So once we get oversold like this, we're not likely to continue overselling like that in a bull market. So I think that's kind of off the table. That's a good sign. Let's see. We're going to switch this out and go to the MACD real quick. On the MACD, same thing. You know, there's oversold activity. We flipped that line actually in mid-April, and we're actually above that moving average, moving in the upward direction. See, this is what I mean. When we move sideways, when we consolidate, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It doesn't mean that it's bearish. It actually can mean that it's bullish. It's riding that line upward. It's not crossing back down below it. And that's reflective of it holding that floor, which is a former ceiling, as resistance, as a new support level. And that support level is being reflected in the moving average as that blue line stays above the red line. What we want to see is this get above the volume bars again, so we can show a little bit more bullish activity. To do that, we're going to need to get through our moving averages, and that's looking like it could happen at any point in time. The key, we don't want to break down. Breaking down further would just either send us all the way back down to where we were, and maybe push out this next bull run to sometime late in 2025 until we can establish momentum again, or it could just be a temporary setback. But what the charts don't lie, the data doesn't lie. This is likely what the case and scenario is. So we're going to keep that in mind. I know there's some news. There's talk of a death cross. There's a CIP 69 upgrade that's coming. There's a lot of things on the table, but I don't think there's any need to worry. I think the biggest thing is, can we hold this support? Can we chop sideways? And then can we find some breaks to the upside? Because I think what's likely to happen, before I give you my prediction, this is actually part of my prediction, is I think we're going to hold here and get through, and then we're going to recover upwards like this to the 65 level. Maybe we come up and touch 72, but I think we'll chop in here. And then after doing that, we'll have our chance to break back to the upside. That's usually what you see in these type of structures, especially if it's going to recover. It did it here, broke down, held, came back up. Here it went sideways, came back up. This has already gone sideways. We could see a precipitous jump back to 61 pretty quickly. So don't be surprised if you see that come in pretty hot over the next week or so. That would look like, gotta zoom in. Sorry, this is really zoomed out. Yep, get rid of that. we'd be looking at like a 30 to 40% move. Yeah, 30 to 40% or so, 30 to 45% move. Don't be surprised to see that over the next couple of weeks, maybe in small chunks, maybe in one go. But that's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to finish out May pretty close to 60 cents, maybe 55 cents. And then we're going to chop in here for a while. I think as we get into the summer, and then once we get into the fall, I think that's when we'll have a chance to show that we've consolidated at a higher level. We've established bull market sentiment, and then maybe off to the races. So I think next month, this month, end of this month, 55 to 60 cents is possible. I think we will get there unless we have something else that sets us back. Tons of black swan events that could pop up. A lot of possibilities. That's my guess. And then by the end of 2024, January 2025, day one, can we get to $1? What would it take to get us to $1? Just real quick. It's steep, but it's possible. You need to see something like this to come up, retest for a while, get into the fall, come up again. You might see a couple, but it honestly probably won't do that. It'll probably do something like this. Anyways, we'll see. I'm just going to leave you guys with that today. I can't predict it fully right now. This is, when you look at where Cardano's at and where it's been, this is nothing. This is a blip on the map. When it wants to run, it will run. And it will just look like a straight line upwards. But in terms of its volume right now, that's just what I think and what I'm predicting. Let's see if it can get into this funnel. Let's see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure to comment in the comment section down below what you think about Cardano's price, what your predictions might be, and what you think is important to keep up with in the Cardano ecosystem. We'll come back to Cardano in June and do another chart analysis and review. So make sure to like and share with a friend and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much. And I'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.